Hey everyone, and welcome back to Episode Club. Today we're going to be talking Season 5, Episode 1, The Wars to Come. And joining me today, as always, is Johnny B. Crazy, aka Johnny B. Baelish. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Sasa. How are you? Uh, Not enough Baelish in this episode. That's why this episode sucks. No, this is a fun little episode. There's some intriguing things we get to talk about. First being the Maggie the Frog prophecy. And the key thing being left out here. Sorry, I won't get into it yet. You know how I love to rant, but thank you for having me on. The Wars to Come. Pretty good episode. You know, all these are pretty good. I'll have some complaints later, but this is good. Thanks.
Yeah, it's no problem, and to answer your question, I'm doing all right. Could be better, could be worse, but still trudging through. But yeah, this is a pretty good season opener for the show. The first scene that we have in the episode, which is actually a flashback, and it's the first time the show's ever used a flashback period, but especially to start off a show.
Yes.
And it happens to be, according to some sources on the internet, about 25 years before the start of the or this point in time, or the start of the series. And it features BBM's favorite queen, or aka Fandom Saint's favorite queen, Cersei Lannister, before she was when she was just Tywin's daughter, and she goes and visits a wood witch in the forest named Maggie the Frog, who she asks to talk about her future. So, what did you feel about this flashback and the use of the flashback?
Uh, I would say that Cersei was at this point still queen to be. She is betrothed to Rhaegar in a fashion, or is betrothed to Rhaegar, and she pretty much wants to know when she'll be queen. And this is Cersei's curiousness possibly getting the better of her. Is the prophecy true or not? The one thing that's pretty awesome is you could go both ways, because people kind of make their own fate. If you believe something's going to happen and you fervently keep believing it, everything is possibly going to fall into place just from you willing it subconsciously into existence. The thing here, too, we do hear about the three shrouds who get the prophecy, but the Valonqar isn't mentioned, which is curious, but makes me think it leaves it open for Cersei to die in a myriad of ways. I'm going with yes, she's gonna poison herself just like she almost did with Tommen and Joffrey, but that could just be me. I don't know. I'll let you go with that for a second, because I know we're gonna do a whole podcast on that.
Yeah, I feel like they probably left out the Valonqar prophecy so that if it ends up being how she goes out, that it's a huge shocker. Mostly to the pure show watchers who don't obviously delve into YouTube and other platforms to know more about the stories and the books. So I think that's probably why they maybe had left it out. But yeah, like you said, it's a myriad of potential ways that her character could end up. But also the actress the young actress who plays Cersei actually looked up her role in terms of how Lena Headey does her mannerisms and sort of how she presents herself, which is pretty cool. And yeah, the scene, obviously it's playing out in Cersei's mind, but the fact that she says, well, the king and I have children, and she says the king will have 20 children and you will have 3, and she says that doesn't make any sense, obviously, because I guess at this point, either she wasn't attracted to Jaime in the way that we know her now, or she was just so much more in love with Rhaegar, maybe.
I think she was willing to be with Rhaegar. She still fantasized about Rhaegar. I don't, I'm pretty sure she's not sexually mature. If she is, she's just on the cusp of it at this point. I would say that her and Jamie were super close. Her idea of love at this age may be a complete fantasy, the same as Sansa, right? She may not have even liked Rhaegar. You know, she could have despised him for how good he is, like she does Ned and these other people. Um, it's kind of a self projection, and yeah, she doesn't really get it. There's no way as a child she can understand the complexity that is her life now. Holy shit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there's obviously the idea of her saying that there'll be a younger, more beautiful queen to cast you down and take all you hold dear. Obviously, a lot of people have talked about it. I've made a theory video about it, and it's projected currently that it's Marjorie that's going to take everything that Cersei holds dear, and then we think in season 6 and into season 7 that it's Dany. In the end, I think it will ultimately be Sansa because Jaime's on the side more or less of Sansa than Daenerys. But
I just thought of something twisted that could happen. Yeah, everybody's like, Cersei's gonna give a miscarriage or the baby may kill her. What if the baby's a girl and they honor the heir? Like everybody else is dead. I know this is really dark, but uh, the actual younger, more beautiful queen is her baby. That would be insane. Even though probably not gonna happen because it says she would have three. So,
three children.
That's my tenfold BS.
But
It's probably not.
they already kind of dropped the ball on that because she's already technically had 4 children in the show. So
What are you talking about? Gendry ain't her baby.
Well, she said she had a black-haired baby that was, she had a black-haired baby that was Robert's that died, 3 weeks after it was born or something like that from a cold. So she's had
I don't know if that necessarily means you'll have kids. That you can interpret that roughly with the Maggie the Frog prophecy.
Yeah, because in there, that I guess this time period, the survival was up to, at a year. They considered that a survival.
Because you could almost go with a miscarriage being another one as well. But I do want to give a shout out to Bobby Catalano. I'm using my notebook right now. It's awesome. Also, if you see this little niche here, thank you, Sasa, for my Dundee Award. I know I earned it. And all my Master's kit. Just a special shout out. And to the Cylon Johns and Jills. Just had to do that really quick. Now go ahead.
No problem for Dundee at all. You deserve it. But yeah, it's just a relatively quick scene, and I believe the next scene that we have is a flash to Cersei, present day, before the Sept of Baelor, and she is now going to see Tywin's body lie in state, and she's making everybody else wait. So, what do you feel about this scene and sequence here?
I feel that she's paranoid, eyeballing Marjorie. This coming straight off the prophecy. It's apropos. And then Tywin, we see Charles Dance for the last time you mentioned earlier, with his nice set of rock eyeballs, which does not happen in the books, and they just made an extra creepy factor for the show. I don't like it. I don't like looking at it. I mean, it's cool. It's okay. It's not bad. It's just really creepy. Maybe that's what they're going for. Similar things have been used in the past, in actual history, with coins and other things to weigh down the eyelids to make sure they stay closed or whatever. But, it is what it is. We kind of hear Cersei's desperation and kind of she lays it all out to Jaime, and Jaime is, Jimmy whispers in this fashion. He's concerned, but Cersei is the one that's more paranoid about it. Going back to the paranoid aspect, Jaime's trying to look at it objectively. Cersei's really close to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When she is walking there, the High Septon's like, "Your Grace, the lords and ladies have been waiting for a long time, and they've traveled all over the Seven Kingdoms to pay their respects." And she's like, "They can wait." Thankfully, this scene did not end up like the previous scene of those two alone with a dead body in the middle of the Sept of Baelor.
I was going to say that, but yeah, I mean, no, yeah. So bringing it down to the gutter, like your usual self. No, I'm just kidding.
They had the conversation of, did you let him go, and why did you let our brother go? And also that Cersei has
the little monster. Sorry.
It's okay. And there's the admittance, too, of Cersei's like, you were his favorite. You were the golden child, not just the golden son. You were the golden child of father. Like, you were the apple of father's eye. And he didn't want you to be a king's guard, but look, you're here guarding his body. As
Primo Lottie got more head than he got body. I don't know, just had to throw that out there for a minute.
And yeah, she's just really trying to grasping kind of the world without her father.
Wait, Cersei's wearing a glamour there. That's not even really Cersei. Hashtag conspiracy theory.
Dun, dun,
Sorry,
dun.
didn't mean to interrupt you. I just had to throw that out there.
Ha!
Do you see those two people in the background?
No.
Me either.
But yeah, she's kind of defeated, but she's also trying to navigate a world without Tywin, and how she can kind of control the last son that she has left, because now she may not have two people ripping over over Tommen, meaning Marjorie and Tywin, but now she just basically, her baby boy is now left in the hands essentially of the Tyrells, pulling him between the remaining Lannisters and the Tyrells.
And she is right to be cautioned at this point. I mean, yeah, she's paranoid, but given what unfolds later, I mean, you can't blame her. You would have thought she would have tried to do more. I mean, it's so weird how this played out. It's completely backfired on her ass, but yeah.
Yeah. And the one final thing for this scene, too, is in the books, the mention of Tywin smelling bad. And smelling odd for...
Yeah. What poison was it? Sickly sweet. I want to say it, the Tears of Lys. Or Widow's Blood. I can't remember. Might have been Widow's Blood. Can't remember what. Tell us in the comments. I know Septa Shanna knows.
Yeah, someone will inform us of that. And yeah, so there's an investigation not only into the fact that it's Tyrion that shoots him, but the fact that Tywin just doesn't smell exactly of being just shot. There was extra foul play involved. But yeah.
Pun intended. Foul play.
Anything else for this scene? Or do you want to move on?
No, I think it was pretty good. This is like a really short episode in the sense there's not a lot of info here. I would call this a filler episode. It's not a bad filler episode, but definitely a filler episode.
No, but it like the majority of it is filler until we obviously get to the end of the episode. So the next scene that we see is
Turd hole. Hashtag turd hole.
Yeah. And we see the other Lannister, all the way across the Narrow Sea in Master Illyrio's palace, which flashback to season 1, episode 1, where Dany and where we meet Dany and Viserys for the first time. So, what do you feel about this scene here with Tyrion and Varys?
Well, I mean, it's a good little scene, kind of just as Tyrion getting back on his feet and Varys telling Tyrion how much value he has, how much self-worth he has, and he should be confident in himself enough to back the right person. You may never be king, but you could be the person behind the king. And we see this as him definitely going. Right now, I guess we don't know he's going for Dany, but you can assume if you've been watching this show and you're kind of paying close attention like most of us do. Yeah, he's going for Dany. And in the books, if you've read the books as well, you know that he's going for Dany. And how much. The thing is here as well, Illyrio and Varys' plans, because they don't seemingly know. They've been thrown a small curveball. Varys can't stay in the capital. But I feel like, what's their plans for Dany? Because seemingly she was kind of thrown away in the sense that it's okay that Viserys died. They didn't really freak out about that. Varys seemingly was pretty concerned about the dragons. We know how he feels about blood magic as well. So do you think he was forced in a sense, or he saw Dany as a good person here? Or is this his only damn option?
In which circumstance?
Right now. Just right now in the show. Sorry.
It's probably like a mixture of the two, because it's probably the only opportunity that he's ever had besides the use of the little birds, the little birds, to kind of get in contact with her.
Because Fagon's taken out of the show, so he has to back some Targaryen or
for right now.
Targaryen or Blackfire, whatever the hell you want to call him.
Yeah.
Or the real Aegon, whatever. Don't yell at me, Bubba.
For obviously the right purposes of right now in the show, Dany's kind of the only one that he can back. Obviously, because Maester Aemon is Maester Aemon. He's very old, and they don't know about Jon, even though I personally think that, like, during this, he was most definitely wanting to back Dany. But in the future, once there's the revelation of who Jon is, they may kind of bring that whole sort of Fagon into Jon's character.
They have to. I think it'll happen after the Battle of Winterfell, but yeah, that's something we can get into. I think we definitely need to do a season 8 stream, which we don't do much of. A couple of Potter, one on yours, one on mine. I think that'll be good. Yeah, book it. I just forced her into it. Yeah. You heard it here, everyone.
Yeah.
Also, hashtag best butt stream is coming very, very soon.
Yeah, we just have to figure out exactly who will be joining us and all of that. But yeah, I feel like
sounds like peer pressure. I hear you coming on another stream of one of our friends. So peer pressure, best butts.
Yes. With the Varys, this is not really until the second scene with them, but yeah, he's most definitely planning something with Dany, or along the lines of Daenerys. But yeah, even Tyrion, he's just like, I'm thankful that I'm out of my box. Hashtag Tyrion's Toot 10, or whatever you want to call it, this scene. But yeah, it's kind of quick, because the other scene between these two, it just has a lot more things going on with it. But yeah,
I kind of touched on the other scene already, didn't I?
a tiny
And
bit.
though it's okay, it's still. I mean, the more I look at this, man, there's not a lot of info in this episode. Still
It,
fun. Love that. Love the show.
mhm. And Tyrion spitting up wine for the first time. Did you ever think that would happen? No. Or coughing up wine, sorry.
You gonna make me watch it?
So, the next.
False idols are torn down. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Like you said, the false, I guess, idol or the symbol of Marine has now been taken down. So where is Dany going to hang her flag now? Who knows? Or her banner? Where's she going to hang that from now? Anyway, and so she's now officially taken over as Queen of Marine, and we see that
White rat.
that white rat has went to I guess, Lady of the Afternoon, I guess you could call her, instead of Lady of the Night, a Lady of the Afternoon, and to have some special time, but not in the traditional sense. And
Hashtag super happy fun time.
his
Hashtag tell me a story. Hashtag sing to me. Hashtag oh shit. Okay, I'm done.
and his throat gets split, and there's the reveal of one of the sons of the Harpy is involved in this. So, what did you feel about this couple?
Is this the first son of the Harpy we see here?
Yeah, it's the introduction
So
of the sons of the Harpy.
It's the introduction of the one true David Adams. We see him here, and he's a bad mofo. You know, they are slick. They use the alleys. They're using a type of guerrilla warfare, and I feel like we've seen some foreshadowing for this from the slave who wanted to go back to his master. People get stuck in their own old ways, even if they're being treated horribly. This is why you have to set up a system of government. This is why you have to set up some laws and have to do this immediately in order for them to take root. You have to start to teach the children. You have to get some schools going with your school of thought and also meld it together. You have to bend. You can't. You have to be more malleable. And yeah, she wants to be sympathetic to their traditions, but she needs to think about it more in their way of life and less in Westerosi terms, which I don't know. Like, this is a making of her own device, but this is going to happen with any conquering. You're going to have rebellion. It's just how you control it. And, well, she has no experience here. I'm not knocking Dany, but, yeah, she does make some wrong decisions. But that's the beauty of her character to me. I know a lot of people hate her. A lot of people love her so much that they're willing to overlook everything. But I see her for what she is, and I like her. So that's just to throw that out there. I'm not a Dany hater, but I'm not like a Dany fanboy either. She is one of my top 5 characters, though.
Yeah, she does well for herself. But yeah, she's now officially, I guess, to all of Marine. Now they're queen, even more so. And yeah, the fact that we get the introduction of the Sons of Harpy means that Dany now faces a big bad for her reign, almost like while Westeros, kind of in the Westeros storyline, faces the big bad of the White Walkers, I guess you could say, which is kind of a balancing of the, I guess, scales in a sense. And the fact that she wants to treat White Rat with dignity and bury him in a special place, and that it's public, kind of makes, I can never remember his name, but he's the one standing beside Grey Worm, who ultimately dies at the hands of Dario.
Um,
The
oh,
the
shit.
kind
Hold
of
on. Let
just
me
a
see. Is
spread,
it Masador? No?
maybe. I can't remember.
Either way. All good. Mhm.
Anyway, yeah, and he just is the one to kind of tell the masses about this, and that even though there's the revolt with the Sons of the Harpy, that it's going to be public. Even Barrison's like, you're just gonna try and start a war within a city that you just got back, like just got. Not the smartest idea, Danny, but I guess I'll go with it. But yeah. Oh, Mazador. Yes, so his name is Mazador because I just read the screen cap. Anyway, the but yeah, so he's gonna be a emissary almost for Marine, but anyway, yeah. And then there's just Grey Worm looking stoic as what? And oh yeah, we get um Grey Worm and Missandei, and she asks why would an Unsullied go to a brothel, and he's like, I don't know, but they may do it for this reason or that reason. And she's curious. Homegirl is curious about what um, the Unsullied do in their spare time. Um,
Well, also she finds a lot of solace in who he is, and he's really relatable for her, in my opinion. They're one and the same, as far as I'm concerned. But you know,
no, yeah, very true. And yeah, she just wants to know more about him, more about his people, if you can call it that. And we see John in the next scene teaching Ollie how to use a sword and shield. Um, and he's and this is that whole uh, put your shield up or ring your head like a bell, which comes to play again in a future episode. But yeah, and yeah, they have some training going on.
well, this has John really been the only capable male male, the only capable role model at the damn thing. As far as Alistair Thorne goes, he's really stern, but he doesn't let anyone in. He doesn't get close. He doesn't let them feel a part of something. This is why everybody hates Ollie, because John brought him in. John made him his steward. John, that's kind of grooming for the next Lord Commander. Of course, it'd take him years, but that's something John saw in him, saw that he was capable. He was able to kill a wildling, keep his cool under pressure at the battle for the wall, even though it was Egret. John does not hold that against him, and that's really key here, in my opinion.
Yeah, most definitely. And yeah, it is almost kind of like that mentor, big brother type role that John's playing for like a lot of people in this, but especially like Ollie. And we know that the phrase of keep your shield up or you ring your head like a bell was a thing that Ned probably, like if he was to teach the boys sword fighting, what he probably says to him, because in a scene in a future episode, I believe it's 603, is what he says to young Benjen. So we get that mirroring almost. But yeah, Alistair Thorne is still crabby as always. And Gilly and Sam have a conversation about uh, her and her staying there, and Sam, and why Sam shouldn't be or should be training. And Sam's like, well, I already killed a White Walker and a Then, so I don't think I need any more training. And Gilly's like, maybe you should still do it some, though. What do you feel about these two in that short conversation that they have?
Well, I mean, Gilly is right. He should be training a little bit. Yes, he's good under pressure. That's what you should be when you are in a fight. Some people are really good at sparring. Some people can kick the shit out of you, but when the time is right, they either freeze up or they just forget everything they're taught and they revert back to old habits. Yeah, Kelly's right. It's a really cute thing, but Sam, at least he realizes these aren't his strengths and he needs to focus on what his strengths are right now because there are other people that can fight. So, to his point, he's right as well. Gilly's thinking short term, Sam is thinking long term. And I'm not saying Gilly isn't thinking long term as well, but Sam can see the power of knowledge a little more than Gilly can at this point. You know, this is kind of the beginning of why more of the beginning of why she learns to read and such.
Mm-hmm.
And she realizes why Sam did this later.
Yeah. And it's, yeah, Gilly's just awesome. She may be a minor character, but she packs a few punches in the later seasons. And yeah.
I'm sorry for the noise.
Okay. And there's the fracking idiots, thing 1 and thing 2, or idiot 1 and idiot 2, Alistair and Janos. And they're just nuts. Don't even want to spend too much time on them because Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. Oh, goodness. Unagi. Also, just Lord Snow, that's not your job. You little treasonous whore. That's all he's thinking at this point, so whatever.
And then Janos, there's only 1 episode left. And Mel comes and says, the king wants a word. Which, since there's only 3, 4 women in the Night's Watch right now, John's just like, huh? You're talking to me? But yeah, so they take the elevator and she asks him a couple questions. His virginity and among other stuff. And then he asks her if she's warm. But she says, the Lord's fires burn within me. Which, whatever that's supposed to mean, if it's just she's just always has a temperature or something else. And then they have the conversation between Stannis, Davos, and John. So, what did you feel about this couple scenes here?
Well, I mean, Stannis, Davos, and John here. Stannis is trying to give Mance every chance he can before he kills him. You gotta give Stannis that credit. The way he's gonna kill him, whatever. But this goes back to the whole bend a knee or you die. Dany's getting a little bit stuck in this, and everybody sees her as Aegon the Conqueror, but they didn't necessarily have to bend the knee. Yes, the king who knelt bent the knee, but that wasn't because Aegon said, hey, bend the knee or I'm going to burn you alive. He would let you keep your dignity. And that's what Dany has to remember, and I think she will remember in season 8. So, with that, I think this is a good opportunity, but John knows what's going to happen, and the look on John's face when he realizes what the method of execution here is just priceless. And, Davos doesn't like it, but what's he going to say about it at this point?
Mm-hmm.
He's a good hand.
Yeah, Davos is probably maybe the best hand of the king. In term, compare it to the past ones, you could also say Tyrion is a good hand, but he's predominantly a hand of a queen. But yeah, Davos touches a lot of characters in this, and especially with Stannis, it's like the power duo that is those two. Even though Davos doesn't hold too much power, and they say that Mance only has until sundown to respond to the agreement. If not, he'll die. And John's like, shit, I'm running out of time. But yeah, it's cool to see more than just John or the Night's Watch or Sam on top of the wall. But to see Stannis and Davos, it's pretty cool. And oh yeah, they also mention of who rules Winterfell, and John says Roose Bolton, and like Stannis kind of says like, I'll take it back for you, almost, because this is more or less in the book that John's been kind of offered Winterfell by Mance Rayder. It's by some high lord that he's potentially offered Winterfell, and then Val the Wildling Princess as well, which obviously they didn't bring into the show, but would have been kind of cool. Anyways, but you could say in a sense that Dany is Val too, but
Yeah, I mean, very true. And then we see Robin Aaron trying to become the best fighter in the realm. Season 8, he's coming out guns a-blazing, doing backflips. He'll be in King's Landing. I think he's going to be Cersei's master swordsman. He's the next Syrio Farrell. So with that being said, I don't know what we're getting at with this scene, other than Littlefinger is, putting Robin Aaron aside so he can control the Veil, or at least try to. Like he wants him to become a man, I guess, because he is his father. But where does this play out? Where we're left in season 7, I don't know. I don't know how much thought to put into this. It's a funny scene though. He fights like a girl with palsy, Bon John always said, and I don't know. It's just a odd scene. Maybe you saw a little more than I did though.
In this, it's a relatively short scene. I think it's probably for us to maybe see a potential evolution of how he becomes a better swords fighter. May not be the best, because there's just maybe that. It also could be just for the pure sense of a comedic scene in the middle of a lot of drama heavy, and then you're kind of using the expense of this kid and not being able to sword fight properly as like levity. But it's set with kind of a backtone of Sansa and Baelish and Bronn John Royce having that conversation that they do have. So it's kind of hard to see it, but you can kind of like understand why they did it in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the most logical thing to do. You got to get him to become a little more of a man than he was. He's been coddled for so long. You need to go ahead and just throw his ass into the fire. So, yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, and as we can see, Dark Sansa has not left the building yet, but she will be soon with Baelish. But yeah, the trio that is these three right here comes to play in again in season 7. So they basically know that this is who Sansa is, but now she's reverting back to her secret name. And yeah. Then we see Pod and Brienne, and they're talking about Arya and how Arya had kind of just not went with them, and that she just disappeared. And talking about the wall and where Santa could be, and all of that. It's a pretty, again, another short scene. It's us catching up with all of these other characters. But what did you feel about Brienne and Podrick?
Well, I thought it was a good little scene. Podrick kind of advancing to be a little more of a squire, and Brienne you know, respecting him slightly more, even though, she kind of puts him down in the sense to where, I don't know, she's treating him like she should at this point. She cares, even if he says something stupid. If you don't care, most people just ignore you. And you could say, oh, that's all she's got. She would be fine alone. So I don't think that's a big deal. But she was like, Arya doesn't want my protection here. And she doesn't because she can't trust you. She doesn't know. And she tries to separate ways with Pod. I think not because he's a burden like she wants us to believe. I think because for his safety, and she realizes how dangerous it can be, especially after that fight with the Hound. There, that put shit in perspective for her, and just the fact that Littlefinger and Sansa passed them. The the irony, you know.
No, they do meet up in one of the taverns.
Oh, I know, but the irony of them looking so hard and another sister is passing by when one just got away.
And in this scene, Sansa doesn't know obviously where they're going because they're on their journey north, home. And obviously we know that they're going to Winterfell because that's where her next marriage is. Dun 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 dun. And yeah, it's and like you can see that this is her. These couple episodes of her thinking that she's gonna be so great and be on this rise and this massive high, only to kind of crash and burn. So what do you feel about this?
Well, I don't know what how safe she'll be. Sansa again is duped into feeling a little more confident. Now she seemingly is kind of worried and catching on a little bit. Littlefinger's trying to reassure her, right? And he just now tells her where they're heading, right? To Winterfell.
I think it's kind of left ambiguous. Because it's the reveal of, I think in 503 that they are where they are. She just thinks that I guess they're going to smaller places. I think I can't exactly remember. But
there's not a lot. Yeah, taking the Lannister somewhere they'll never find her. Explains talking about how he doesn't trust anyone except the people he pays, and he still doesn't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's given this line, Sansa, I don't trust anyone, but you can trust me. I promise, Sansa.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Sansa. You better run. I'm coming for you. Yeah, that's basically what it is. But it's the whole thing about trust. He's sitting there giving her warning signs, but she's not picking up on them.
And look at that devilish place that I paused this. It's like, ooh, that's like Littlefinger 24/7 almost in his head. Where he's just stone cold on the other end. But yeah, Sansa and Baelish, they're just on the road again. The next scene that we have is the, I guess, service after everyone has seen Tywin, and everybody's coming up to Cersei being like, your father was a great man, blah, 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 blah. But she's also watching Marjorie and Tommen's relationship kind of develop. And she's like, I don't know about this. But Yeah, what do you feel about Cersei and her sassing all of the patrons at her father's service?
She is not happy at it, and she got to talk to old Kinky Chains here. Passes by him, and then looky there, a lover from the past, Loras, beefed up on steroids, and he's a little sparrow. Is he considered a little bird now? Just kidding. Um,
He's like a medium size. Hashtag medium size bird. Medium bird. And then it's a little bird. Medium bird. Ha ha. Sorry.
you know, she gets approached here, and it's like he asks forgiveness for their sins, and she's like, "There's nothing to forgive," and starts talking about the wine and Robert's death, and she's like, "Well, just shut the fuck up." And she just kind of shrugs it off. She just dusts her shoulders off a little bit and tries to act like nothing happened, basically. And it's kind of a little bit where we left off. Don't they talk outside the hall in a little bit?
I think so.
Or is that next
But
episode?
no, I think it's in this one. And also Uncle Kevin tries to like diffuse the situation, or Father Kevin, depending on how you look at it. And who thought that this old man would still be alive after Tywin? Because it's different in the books, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, it's more of Kevin tells her about Lancel and stuff. Um, and he's, if I'm not mistaken, out in a different. Ah, it's not Acorn Hall. It's somewhere out there. He's married or betrothed. Is a willow of a person. I know he doesn't. I don't know if he's back yet or not. I can't remember how this goes. Let us know in the chat because I'm on
I
my
thought
repeat and I'll be getting close to
isn't
that.
he dead in the book? Or supposedly dead?
Yeah, I think last time I remember, the last thing I remember about him, he looked a lot like Theon, basically almost dead.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you know Kevin's whereabouts, let us know in the
I
comments.
meant Lancel. My bad. Yeah, Kevin's dead. Who the hell killed him? Varys killed him.
There we go. Yeah, instead of Pycelle, right? Like that, they do that
Yeah,
switcheroo.
yeah.
Anywhoozles. Never mind. But yeah, they have that conversation, and then here it is where she's talking again um to Lancel, and it's just, oh boy, you look so kind of pathetic, but also understandable. Like if you've been brainwashed by a certain religious group or religious cult, uh, you start spewing all kinds of crazy things sometimes. But Cersei's just like, I don't have to deal with you. Go away. Don't talk to me anymore. Yeah, she's just being Cersei. Um, and we see in this scene here that it's a special scene between Loras and Oliver. Um, and man, then Marjorie shows up, and she's just like, I don't want Cersei to be my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. Um, and Loras is just kind of like, hey, you have to deal with her. I can go home. Kind of thing. And she's just not happy about it. And like granddaughter, like grandmother, like granddaughter, Marjorie too also eats figs, but not in the afternoon, at night. So, what do you feel about Loras and Oliver, and then Loras and Marjorie?
Loras and Oliver. Well, I mean, This here is Littlefinger's hooks are in the Tyrells, right? We know Oliver works for Littlefinger, and this is kind of just an accentuation of what Loras has to be able to use against him as blackmail. It's not necessarily bad, but in this culture, that can be used against you. Marjorie knows this. She just is able to walk right in, so they're being very careless. She lets him know this and pretty much chastises him a little bit, but it's very accepting. And Oliver sees this. Oliver is a witness to everything here, and if we are to remember, he is a spy, so that is something to take into consideration. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, this whole scene is just proves like how kind of close they are as siblings, and how Marjorie's still trying to figure out what strategy she wants to play with Cersei, because I don't think Olenna's in the capital anymore, or she is for a few more episodes. And she's trying to figure out the best plan of action. She has Tommen pretty much right where she wants him. And yeah, she's just learning how to deal with that. And yeah, she's just kind of sassing her brother, being like, you got to be more careful. Anybody can walk in at any time. And if you want to keep up your facade, even though people know all about you, just got to do what you got to do, but don't do it in certain moments, pretty much. And yeah, she also says that they're late for dinner, or they were making them late for dinner, so she's hangry. Yeah.
She's hungry. Yeah, Tyrion's a little hangry too, but more on the alcoholic side, unfortunately. But in this world, you have to deal with stuff. Everyone has their vices, and well, I'd probably be dealing with it in the same way. Varys tries to give him some perspective here with the beautiful rays of light. And since I've already touched on this earlier, I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, so I've seen this scene a couple times. I've watched it over a couple times, and basically the conversation is between Tyrion and Varys. And in a roundabout way, they're basically talking about how Tyrion, now that he has basically been banished by the Lannisters in a sense, he now has to go and support someone else. We need someone who's stronger than Tommen, but gentler and Stennis. A monarch who can intimidate the High Lords and inspire the people. A ruler loved by millions with a powerful army and the right family name. It's pretty much what it said, not verbatim, but pretty dang close. And everybody and their mother usually thinks that this is Dany that he's talking about. It is kind of Dany who he is talking about. I don't know if the number equates to 1 million right now, but she can be loved by the people, but not if she kills a whole bunch. Yeah, it's part of, I guess, what they're trying to start now with the younger, more beautiful queen prophecy. But yeah, it's a good scene. It's well played out. It's well thought out for what happens to Tyrion's character in a couple episodes from now. But yeah, it's Varys in a roundabout way talking about Daenerys. It's like, dude, you can mention Daenerys' name. It's fine. You're not in King's Landing anymore. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I guess he wants Tyrion to not have any predisposed. He doesn't want Tyrion to be dwelling on his the whole judging a book by cover. Doesn't want his preconceived notions right now to what would you call corrupt Tyrion's mind. That makes sense. The longer Tyrion's able to dwell on it and think about it, the worse off probably. That's probably why, he's smart. Varys is.
But also too, it's in some way too, with that, like you said, it's up to interpretation. Because he said someone, and more leaning towards some woman. Me. In the video that I had made, I lent it completely towards Santa, but yeah, it's, hey, who knows at this point. But yeah, it's just, yeah, they're doing what they gotta do. And yeah, so we see in the next scene that Dario is back with the second sons, and yeah, then just Dario comes back. His star says his spiel about it, and Dario and Danny catch up. So, what did you feel about these kind of scenes here with Danny again?
Yeah, we have his Darzo Kravitz coming back. We'll see. It looks like now that there might be a little more patrol, and she's trying to get a little information here, but their mission has been successful. The wise masters supposedly have overturned the rules, and as far as I guess the slaves, the terms were met that she sent out a couple of episodes ago. They want to reopen the fighting pits, though. That's kind of the deal. Danny is very reluctant of this. She denies it. She ends up reconsidering it, and I mean, we learn here too that Drogon hasn't been seen in weeks, right? And the Dragon Queen with no dragons after his Dar leaves. I think that's a pretty funny statement, and that she pretty much kind of gets pissy at that. But that's his roundabout way of saying, "Hey, I don't know if you should have locked him up."
Yeah, and speaking of
The people know she locked him up. That's a weapon that she doesn't have at her disposal right now. They know this.
Yeah, and there's James
Franco
Franco.
says hi.
There's James Franco making his episode club appearance. But yeah, this is her wearing, I guess, the outfit, or very similar outfit to the one that she wears in the Dragon Pit scene, or the fighting pits scenes. But yeah, it's talking about how pretty much she got what she wanted. But she says, "I'm not a politician. I'm a queen." She'd probably say a similar thing if someone says, "Well, you're a conqueror." She'd be like, "No, I'm a queen." Kind of thing. It's her.
I guess does she lock up the dragons later or now?
Does she lock
I
them
mean,
up?
not lock them up. Does she go visit them? Is that later?
After she has sexy fun times with Dario, she goes.
Oh yeah, all that crap.
And yeah, she's just she says she's not a politician, she's a queen, and that basically all the people have to listen to her. Yeah, and then Dario's giving her like the hey, wink wink, nudge nudge eyes. It's like, I haven't seen you in a while. Look. And obviously she accepts those
How you
looks.
doing?
Yeah, she accepts, and pretty much they have a conversation about after some sexy fun times about how he used to sit and he used to fight in the fighting pits, and how he knows how to fight like a Westerosi knight, a Bravosi water dancer, and some other fighting style.
Anyways, he's a mixed martial artist, basically. He's talking about how badass he is with his flat ass. He might not make the top 5 asses, everyone. Anyways, we'll be getting a vote going this week, so hashtag butt stream. 5 best female, 5 best male butts. And if you want to throw in eunuchs, you got Varys and Grey Worm. Oh, you can throw in some stuff there. Yeah, we can do that too. That'd be fun.
Mhm.
Because no discrimination here.
Nope.
This is just Danny getting some relief, pleasure, which you got to kind of have. If she didn't do that, she would probably kill everyone by now. But she does go try to see the dragons after this. And this is, the Dragon Queen with no dragons.
Hmm.
Dario gets to be sassy with her, and no one else does. I think that's funny.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, if you want to talk about her visiting the dragons, I mean, I'm not going to say much other than the babies are mad, and rightfully so. I'd be pissed at my mother too.
Yeah, the one last thing with this is like he also says, you can buy anybody with gold can buy the Unsullied, which means like they're not just loyal to you just because you showed up. Just because someone with gold shows up, they can buy the Unsullied
Well,
too.
also the Unsullied don't make her special. Yes, they're a good fighting army, but I think he's going more into the focus that the dragons are what make you special. Dragons are what gonna get you where you need to go. Does it mean burn everyone? No, but you need them. You need them inside. You need them not to be mean or use them like she does later when she tries to act like she's gonna burn people and whatnot, or has the one dude eaten alive basically, and it all they have to do is see them. That's enough fear. We've seen this in Fire and Blood. The Targaryens that tend not to like overly threaten with their dragons, and they just talk like they don't even tell you the dragons are there. You just know the dragons are there by the way they're talking to you. There's no disrespect. They don't put you down. So, rage and pride can make people do a lot of things, and do stupid things to where even if they know they're going to die, they'll still do it. That's where she's got to watch out for. But she's young and learning, and I didn't know I was going to go on this long of a tangent. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah, and with finding out that no one's seen Drogon, she says, I don't want another child's bones dropped at my feet. We'll see about that in the future. Um, and yeah, when she goes and visits two of her babies, we finally figure out what their names are, because I don't think she's ever named them um, besides this point. Or she did, she only said it once or twice. And she says, Viserion, Rhaegal, and they are not happy with mommy. And she's just like, I didn't expect this to happen when she runs back up the stairs. But yeah, they're just angry at mommy. Um, the next scene that we have is John and talking to Mance Rayder about the deal that needs to be either struck or disagreed. Um, and he just says, how am I going to die? Beheading, hanging. John says, they'll burn you alive. And he says, bad way to go. Um, yeah, it's old friends talking about imminent death almost.
Yeah, I mean, John and Mance, they both talk about pride and feel about it differently. Mance doesn't see what he's doing as pride. He sees it as saving the honor of an entire people, which in a sense is pride, but I respect his decision, even though you could see the fear in his eyes, like you said, after he told he was going to be burned alive. John tries to talk sense into him, but respects his decision and knows the customs of the people. And you can only talk to someone so far. And it starts to get disrespectful when you keep trying to tell them what to do, how to think, how to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a good scene to back up right behind Danny's scene. It's kind of, we see the complete opposite here.
Yeah. And then he says, what's more important than your pride? And Man's like, my pride. It's like, what? Like, what do you mean about my pride? Like, the pride that I have means nothing. Um, it's just like and then because they talk about how he united all these clans together, and it's like, yeah, I did it because I wanted my people to do something and to survive when I was gone, kind of thing. And he's like, it doesn't happen, and I don't want people to die for somebody else. So Yeah, it's a it's a scene that just needs to be there, obviously, before the end of the episode. But yeah, it's like old friends just being like, "You're making a bad choice. I don't care. I'm making it anyway because I want to." But yeah, the uh, the next part of this scene is where he gets executed. And Mance Rayder is burned alive or burned at the stake, depending on how you look at it. Uh, so, what did you feel about when this whole sequence happened? Mance being burned, and what happened at the very end?
Well, I mean, John pulls an ollie and shoots Mance like Ollie shot Egret. Standing in the same location. No, I know he wasn't standing in the same spot, but this is just the gift of mercy here. One of the most painful deaths. Although you thankfully die of asphyxiation, unless the wind is really bad, which we see here, probably would keep a little. But the fire coming around you sucks up all the oxygen in the air, and the only good thing about it is that you pass out before you completely burn. But still awful. You're gonna feel the burn before you pass. And John gives him a good shot right in the heart, and Tormund sees this. Many people see this. To some people's chagrin, and some people like it. The wildlings have respect for this. Even Stannis as begrudgingly has respect for this. So, it's a decision that John makes that probably was the right decision. But in this world, sometimes you've got to think over those decisions a little bit, because sometimes the right decision will get you killed, like we hear so often. Even though still, yeah, I'm not saying John shouldn't have did it or casting any blame toward him for doing it. I'm just saying, you know.
No. Yeah. Um, yeah, the fact that Mance is burned, it's another one bites the dust. Another good character, another good mentor for John has now passed away or been murdered, depending on how you look at it. And yeah, it's sad to see Mance Rayder go for Tormund and for the Wildlings, and just to, and also too because we see Shireen just like close her eyes when this is happening, and to know that in 8 episodes from now the same thing will happen to her. It's kind of like ooh, gut hits you in the feels, but yeah, Mel just likes to light her fires everywhere. She's just like, okay, next fire. But yeah, that's how the episode ends, is John shooting the arrow into his heart. So, what do you give the episode?
Oh wow, we're done already. I'll give this 7.5 Shireen screams. Ooh. Shireen was watching. Well, if she wasn't watching, she had her eyes closed. I'll give it a different rating. I'll give it 7.5 Robin.
Robin screams. Say.
Yeah, it was a good episode, but there was not much to grab a hold to. Not much substance there, which is okay. It happens in every TV show, and thankfully in this show it doesn't happen that often. But I still give it a 7.5 for some of these key pivotal scenes. This Mance Rayder scene being one of them that was just acted out so perfectly, heartfelt, little drama. This is a lot of setup here.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much as other episodes, though. Usually an episode like this, I would give even a lower ranking, but it's like the acting and some of the scenes here are just really good.
Yeah. It's not the strongest season opener we've had, which kind of just makes it goes like, oh, wah, wah. I don't want to copy you, but I feel like, yeah, 7.5 is a good one because 8 seems almost like too much. So I'll bump it up 7.75 Stannis statements. Wait, like
There you go.
no, 7.75 Stannis survival statements.
There you go.
There we
Yeah.
go. And
To survive.
yeah. So, Johnny, where can the folks at home find you?
You can find me at Johnny Be Crazy on YouTube and the Cylon Johns on YouTube as well. 9 p.m. Eastern. Every Friday, we do a rewatch spoiler free of the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, also on my channel. Coming up on the 15th, the day after the premiere of Game of Thrones, will be the first inaugural Nooners of Thrones. I will have Sasa on and Bravosi Broadcast, uh, also aka Fake Aria, if you don't know. We'll be having a bunch of different people. Sasa is actually going to be doing some awesome episode clubs then. Be on the lookout for this week coming up as well on Thursday. Uh, Me and Sasa are doing her version of the Nooners of Location and Lore. She will be doing High Garden, which will be a very fun and intriguing topic. Everything from Garth the Green Hand to Elena Tyrell. How can you not talk about her and all the conspiracy theories we can think of to go with it? So that's going to be fun as well. Oh, I know. Oh, the new Quickie of Ice and Fire will be dropping Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, maybe a little later in the evening to get some better views. I'm going to play with that somewhat, but we'll be dropping Sunday. Be on the lookout for that. And they'll be coming a little more rapid fire, maybe 2 a week coming soon. And look out for some podcasts. Magor, Anes, and Visenya comparisons to Joffrey, Tommen, and Cersei, so that's going to be fun. Also, we got the butt stream coming up, so I'll let you tag the rest of that. And thank you so much for having me, Sasa. And I'm going to go try to control Franco for a second while you lead us out of here.
No problem at all. Thank you so much, Johnny, for being on. As always, it is a pleasure. So you can find also Johnny on Twitter and Instagram. All his links are down below. Everybody who is on Episode Club at all times pretty much has their links in the description now. But you can find me here on my channel. You can find me on Johnny's channel pretty much whenever. You can also find me on the Cylon Johns. I will be on AU Pack Meals channel this weekend at some point in the early afternoon, I believe on next Saturday, I think so, which will be an awesome time. And yeah, for episode clubs, starting when the season comes out, we will be doing them same nights, same time, 8:30 Eastern on Wednesdays, just to keep the flow going. Yeah, we'll be having some great people on with us. Have to confirm a few others, but we're gonna have some great people. And I should be putting out the 3 Queens versus 3 Queens podcast edition of that theory. Johnny will be joining me with that because I've kind of bounced off of this theory off of him. So yeah, and the next episode that we'll be covering for Episode Club is 502, The House of Black and White. So this is Arya and the House of Black and White episode. It's really good, and I can't wait to talk about it next. Join us on Wednesday. I can't tell you exactly which episode we'll be on, but it will obviously be a season 5 episode, and we'll see you there. So, bye everyone. Bye bye.